Thank you for being an incredible supporter of the 10X podcast group, the home of the skillful art of manipulation. We're thrilled to have you as part of our growing community. If you haven't already, we'd love for you to follow us on your favorite podcast platform. Your likes and comments mean the world to us and help us reach a wider audience with our stories. Plus, with new episodes released every day, your feedback plays a vital role in shaping what we create. It truly makes a difference. Your loyalty and enthusiasm fuel our passion for crafting gripping tales, and we're so grateful for your support. Today, we're excited to present The Deadly Auction, a story that promises to keep you on the edge of your seat. Let's dive into this thrilling narrative together. Chapter 1, The Invitation. The envelope slid under my door at dusk, a silent intruder. No postmark, no stamp, just my name, Jack Mercer, etched in jagged cursive that looked like it had been carved with a blade. The paper smelled faintly of bergamot and gunpowder. I'd been waiting for this, dreading it. I tore it open. A black card, glossy as a raven's wing, glared back. 2 words, midnight. Doc 17. Come alone. They didn't need to say it. I'd heard the stories. The syndicate's auctions weren't for the faint of heart. Stolen Rembrandts, blood diamonds, state secrets, all peddled to the highest bidder in a room where loyalty dissolved faster than sugar in whiskey. But I wasn't here to play collector. I was here because 6 months ago, they took Lena, my baby sister, left nothing but a Polaroid of her bound in a chair, her freckled face streaked with tears, and a note, "Bring us the Faberge." Then she lives. I pocketed the card, my fingers brushing the crumpled photo I kept tucked against my ribs like a second heartbeat. Hold on, Lee. Doc 17 was a rotting carcass of splintered wood and rusted iron, jutting into the Hudson like a middle finger to the Manhattan skyline. The cold November air bit through my trench coat, and fog clung to the water, thick enough to drown in. A single warehouse loomed ahead, its windows boarded, a flickering neon sign above the door, closed for renovations. Bullshit. The syndicate loved its theatrics. A hulking man in a tailored suit patrolled the entrance, his earpiece glowing faintly. He frisked me with hands like cinder blocks, lingering on the .38 strapped to my ankle. "You'll want that tonight," he grunted, letting me pass. Inside, the air was sour with mildew and ambition. 20-odd figures circled a steel table under a single dangling bulb, their faces half-masked by shadows. A gaunt man in a pinstripe suit stood at the head, his fingers drumming a ledger. The auctioneer. His eyes, pale as a corpse's, locked onto mine. "Mr. Mercer, we've been expecting you." The others turned. Sharks scenting blood. A Russian with vodka-flushed cheeks. A tech bro in a hoodie, thumbing a switchblade. A woman in a crimson dress, her smirk sharp enough to slit throats. The auctioneer lifted a velvet box. Inside, a Faberge egg glinted, its gold filigree twisted into serpents swallowing their own tails. "The Tsar's temptation," he crooned. "Lost in the revolution. Found in a Chechen warlord's attic. Opening bid, 2 million. My pulse roared. That's Lena's life on the table. A hand shot up. 3. The Russian. 4. Countered the tech bro, grinning like this was a game. The woman in red leaned toward me, her perfume a mix of jasmine and deceit. "You're sweating, darling," she murmured. "First time." I ignored her, raising my voice. 5. The room stilled. The auctioneer's lips twitched. 5 million. Do I hear 6? The Russian scowled but stayed silent. The tech bro chewed his lip. Going once. The woman's manicured nail traced my wrist. "Careful, hero. Winning here makes you a target." Twice. I clenched my jaw. "I know. Sold." The gavel cracked like a gunshot. The auctioneer slid the egg toward me. "A wise investment, Mr. Mercer. For your collection." The woman laughed, low and dangerous. "Let's see if you survive long enough to enjoy it." As the crowd dispersed, muttering curses and threats, I gripped the egg. It felt cold. Hollow. Just like this whole damn game. Outside, the fog had thickened. Footsteps echoed behind me, quick, deliberate. I spun, hand on my .38. The woman in red stood there, her dress rippling like a wound in the mist. "You're in over your head," she said, lighting a cigarette. The flame illuminated a scar curling from her lip to her ear. "They'll come for that trinket. And you. Let them." She blew smoke in my face. Cute bravado. "What's your real play, Mercer? You don't strike me as the art-loving type." The photo burned against my chest. Lena's laugh, her fists pounding the steering wheel as we raced down Highway 1, the Pacific wind in our hair. I'm here for someone, I said quietly. Her smirk faded. For a heartbeat, something flickered in her eyes. Pity? Recognition. Aren't we all? She muttered, crushing the cigarette under her heel. Stay alive until sunrise. Then we'll talk. She vanished into the fog, leaving me alone with the egg, the darkness, and the gnawing truth. No one leaves this dock with what they came for. Chapter 2. The First Blood. The Russian's body washed up an hour later, his throat split wide like a second grin. They found him tangled in fishing nets, his vodka-flushed cheeks bleached pale by the Hudson. The Faberge egg was gone. I stood over the corpse, the cold gnawing through my coat. The dockworkers had dragged him ashore, muttering about bad luck and worse tides. One of them crossed himself. The others pocketed the dead man's Rolex and scattered. Grief was cheap here. Theft was practical. You should have listened to me. Anya emerged from the fog, her red dress swapped for a black trench coat, her hair pinned tight. She held out a silver flask. Drink. You look like hell. I knocked back a swallow. Cheap bourbon, bitter as regret. Who killed him? Who didn't? She knelt, prodding the Russian's lifeless hand. His fingernails were torn bloody. He fought. Not that it mattered. The egg. Gone. Along with your leverage. She stood, wiping her hands on her coat. The syndicate doesn't trade in second chances, Mercer. You know that. Lena's face flashed in my mind, her smile, her screams. I grabbed Anya's arm. You knew this would happen. You knew they'd take it. Her gaze hardened. I know this doc eats the stupid alive. You walked in here waving a death warrant. She jerked free, nodding toward the warehouse. Check the security tapes. If you live that long. The warehouse was abandoned, the steel table stripped bare. A single bulb swayed above, casting jagged shadows. I found the auctioneer's office unlocked, reeking of cigar smoke and paranoia. The surveillance monitors were still on, static hissing like a lullaby. I rewound the footage. The Russian leaving the auction, egg tucked under his arm. The tech bro trailing him, switchblade glinting. Then a blur. The screen fizzed to black. Clever, isn't it? The voice came from the doorway. The tech bro, Eli, his hoodie now spattered with blood, leaned against the frame, grinning. EMP pulse. Wipes cameras clean. Old hacker trick. I stood slowly, my .38 still strapped to my ankle. You killed him. Killed him. Eli snorted. Nah, man. I just took the egg. Somebody else did the messy part. He pulled the Faberge from his hoodie pocket, tossing it in the air like a baseball. Guess you want this back? It's not yours. Nothing's yours here. He caught the egg, his smile fading. But I'll trade it. For a favor. What favor? He stepped closer, the blade flicking open. Tell your FBI buddies to back off my crypto mines. They've been sniffing around my servers. Ice shot through my veins. How the hell does he know about coal? I don't work for the feds. Bullshit. The blade pressed against my ribs. You think I don't vet the competition? Jack Mercer, ex-Marine, dishonorable discharge. Sister goes missing, and suddenly you're bidding millions on smuggled art. He laughed. You're either a cop or a moron. I headbutt him. He staggered, blood gushing from his nose. The egg clattered to the floor. I dove for it, but Eli tackled me, his knife slicing my shoulder. Pain seared, white-hot. I grabbed his wrist, slamming it against the desk until the blade skittered away. You're dead, he spat, clawing at my eyes. You and your sister. A gunshot cracked. Eli froze, a red bloom spreading over his chest. He crumpled, revealing Anya in the doorway, her pistol smoking. You're welcome, she said. I clutched the egg, my hands slick with blood, mine Eli's, the Russians. Why'd you save me? She kicked Eli's corpse. Because you're the only one here dumber than him. She nodded at the egg. That thing's a tracking beacon. The syndicate's watching. They'll know you have it. Then let them come. They're not coming for it. She stepped closer, her voice dropping. They're coming for her. Lena. The world tilted. What? The syndicate doesn't make trades. They make examples. Her eyes softened, just for a heartbeat. Your sister's alive. For now. But if you want to save her, you need to stop playing hero and start playing thief. I stared at her. Why help me? She reloaded her gun, the click of the chamber echoing like a verdict. Let's just say I owe the syndicate a debt. And I'd rather you paid it. We left Eli's body in the office, the egg tucked in my coat. The fog had thickened, the docks silent except for the groan of distant ships. Anya lit a cigarette, the flame trembling in her hand. They'll be here soon, she said. The syndicate's enforcers. You got a plan? I thought of Lena's Polaroid, her terrified eyes. I'm going to burn this whole place down. Anya smirked. Finally, you're starting to think like them. Chapter 3, The Spark of Betrayal. The enforcers arrived like a storm, silent until they weren't. 6 figures materialized from the fog, clad in tactical black, their faces obscured by balaclavas. But the man leading them wore no mask. His scarred jawline and ice-chip eyes locked onto Anya with the precision of a sniper's scope. "Hello, traitor," he said, his voice a graveled rasp. Anya went rigid beside me, her pistol trembling, just once, before steadying. "Kovac," she breathed, the name a curse. I glanced between them, my shoulder throbbing where Eli's blade had bitten. "Old friend." "Old mistake," Kovac answered, peeling back his sleeve to reveal a tattoo, a serpent coiled around a dagger. The same design as Anya's scar. "She ever tell you how she got that mark, Mercer? How she sold out her own unit in Kiev?" Anya's finger hovered over the trigger. "Shut your mouth." "Or what?" He spread his arms, a predator savoring the chase. "You'll shoot me?" Again, the enforcers fanned out, their rifles trained on us. I edged toward a stack of cargo crates, the Faberge egg burning a hole in my coat. Lena's time was running out. So was ours. Kovac stepped closer, his boots crunching broken glass. "The syndicate wants the egg. And your head, soldatic. But Anya," he grinned, yellowed teeth glinting. "You're worth more alive." "He still wants to play." Anya's breath hitched. For the first time, fear cracked her armor. "Enough talk." I lunged, tackling her behind the crates as bullets shredded the air. Wood splintered above us. "You're bleeding," she hissed, pressing a hand to my seeping shoulder. "Worry about them." I peered over the crate. Kovac's men advanced, methodical, merciless. "Got a plan." She pulled a grenade from her coat. "Distract them." "What?" But she was already moving, sprinting left, drawing their fire. I cursed, unholstering my .38. 3 shots, 2 misses, 1 hit. An enforcer crumpled. Kovac roared. "Take them alive." Anya hurled the grenade. It clattered into a fuel drum near the dock's edge. The explosion was a dragon's roar. Fire engulfed the night, painting the fog in hellish orange. Enforcers scattered, screaming. Kovac vanished into the smoke. "Go." Anya yanked me toward the warehouse. "The egg's tracker. They'll follow." We stumbled inside, the heat at our backs. She barred the door, chest heaving. "Who's he?" I demanded. "The one Kovac mentioned?" Her eyes flickered. "Someone from my past. Someone worse. And you led them here?" I gripped the egg, my blood smearing its gold. "Lena's gonna die because of your shitty history." Anya slapped me. "Hard. You think you're the only one with ghosts." She shoved back her sleeve, revealing the serpent and dagger tattoo, freshly scarred over. I was 19. Kovac was my commander. The syndicate, they don't let you quit. Not unless you burn everything. Footsteps pounded outside. Muffled shouts. Russian. She reloaded her pistol, hands steady now. "I'm getting your sister back." "Not for you. For me." The door exploded inward. Kovac stood framed by flames, a shotgun in his hands. End of the line. Anya fired. I dove. The world dissolved into smoke and gunfire. Chapter 4, The Inferno of Truth. The warehouse groaned like a dying beast, its steel ribs buckling under the weight of flames. Smoke clawed at my lungs as I scrambled behind a collapsing support beam. Kovac's shotgun blasts shredding the air where my head had been seconds before. Anya crouched nearby, her pistol empty, eyes wild with a feral mix of rage and regret. "You lied to me," I shouted over the roar of the fire. She didn't flinch. "You never asked the right questions." Kovac's laughter cut through the chaos. He reloaded calmly, silhouetted against the inferno like a demon king. "You think this is about your sister, Mercer? Naive. The syndicate doesn't waste bullets on orphans." He kicked aside a burning plank, advancing. "But the FBI, they love a good hostage." The word struck like a bullet. "Lena, the FBI." Anya seized my arm, her nails drawing blood. "He's baiting you." But Kovac tossed a crumpled photo into the flames at my feet. I lunged, scorching my palms to snatch it. Lena alive, her wrists cuffed to a metal chair. Not in some syndicate dungeon, but a sterile room with a flickering fluorescent light. An American flag hung crooked on the wall behind her. "Agent Cole sends his regards," Kovac sneered. "He's been keeping her safe for leverage." The fire around us seemed to freeze. Cole, my FBI handler. The man who'd promised to save Lena if I played informant. He had her all along. Anya's voice was a blade. Told you not to trust cops. Kovac leveled the shotgun. Enough nostalgia. I moved on instinct, tackling Anya sideways as the blast erupted, pellets peppering the wall where we'd stood. We rolled into a nest of burning pallets, the heat searing my back. Anya yanked a fire axe from the wall, her scream raw as she hurled it. The blade buried itself in Kovac's thigh. He howled, dropping to one knee. You bitch. Anya was already on him, a jagged shard of glass in her hand. This is for Kiev, she snarled, slashing his throat. Blood arced, black in the firelight. Kovac gagged, collapsing into the flames. Anya staggered back, her hands slick with red. We need to go. Now. But I didn't move. Staring at Lena's photo, the truth curdling in my gut. Cole used me. Played me. The auction, the egg, the syndicate, all theater. And Lena, just another pawn. Anya grabbed my face, forcing me to meet her gaze. You want to save her? Live. Then make the bastards pay. A ceiling beam crashed down, spewing embers. We ran, flames licking at our heels. Bursting onto the dock, the cold night air hit like a slap. Behind us, the warehouse imploded, a funeral pyre for Kovac and his lies. Anya bent double, coughing ash. Cole's got a black site. Upstate. That's where he stashes his assets. I stared at her. How do you know that? She hesitated, then peeled back her collar. A small scar marred her clavicle, the faint imprint of a tracking chip. Because I was one. The river murmured below us, thick with secrets. Somewhere upstream, Lena waited. Somewhere, Cole schemed. I palmed the Faberge egg, its gold now warped by heat. You help me get her out, I said, and I'll burn his whole empire down. Anya spat blood into the Hudson. Deal. Chapter 5, The Hollow Cell. The black site was a concrete crypt buried in the Adirondacks, its walls sweating with condensation and lies. Anya disabled the outer fence with a stolen keycard. Courtesy of my old handler, she muttered. While I watched the guard towers, my .38 slick in my grip. The night was too quiet. Even the crickets had gone silent. They'll have motion sensors, she whispered, nodding to a vent shaft. We go underground. We crawled through ducts lined with razor wire, the metal biting into my palms. Anya moved like a ghost, her breath shallow, her scars glowing faintly in the dim red emergency lights. How many times had she done this before? When we dropped into the sublevel, the air stank of antiseptic and fear. Rows of steel doors lined the corridor, each marked with a barcode. No names. No voices. Just the hum of electricity and the drip of a broken pipe. Cell 7B, Anya said, checking a faded tattoo on her wrist. Numbers even she wouldn't explain. Cole's favorite. I jammed a lockpick into the door, hands shaking. Lena had to be here. The photo of her in that sterile hellfire room burned behind my eyes. The door creaked open. Empty. A cot. A stainless steel toilet. A camera lens blinking red in the corner. No, I choked. No. Anya gripped my shoulder. Look. The monitor above the cot flickered to life. Agent Cole's face filled the screen, his smile a scalpel. Took you long enough, Mercer. I lunged at the screen, fists slamming uselessly against steel. Where is she? Safe. For now. He leaned back, sipping coffee from an FBI mug. You really thought I'd keep her here? After you let the syndicate carve up my auction. Anya's pistol pressed to the monitor. Cut the shit, Cole. What's the play? His gaze shifted to her. Anya Volkov. Still running from Kiev, I see. How's Dmitri? She flinched. Who's Dmitri? I demanded. Cole chuckled. Ask her. If you live through the next 5 minutes. The screen died. Anya whirled, pistol raised, but the corridor lights exploded in a shower of sparks. A figure emerged from the darkness, tall, gaunt, a jagged scar splitting his face from brow to chin. Privet, Anya, the man rasped, a cleaver glinting in his hand. Dmitri. Anya's breath hitched. You're supposed to be dead. You missed. He lunged. Chaos erupted. Dmitri's cleaver bit into the wall where Anya's head had been. She fired blindly, the shots ricocheting off concrete. I tackled Dmitri, but he threw me like a rag doll, my ribs cracking against the floor. He's mine. Anya snarled, leaping onto his back, a garrote wire slicing into his throat. Dmitri laughed, blood bubbling at his lips. Weak. Like Kiev. He flipped her, pinning her with inhuman strength. You betrayed us for what? A bullet and a lie. Anya's eyes met mine over his shoulder. Jack, the egg. I hurled the Faberge. It shattered against Dmitri's skull, gold shards and emeralds scattering. He roared, clawing at his face. Anya jammed a shard into his jugular. He collapsed, twitching, as alarms wailed overhead. Cole tipped him off. Anya panted, wiping blood from her mouth. He's cleaning house. Sirens blared. Boots pounded above us. I pulled her up. Where's Lena? She stared at Dimitri's corpse, her voice hollow. Where Cole always hides his sins. The auction warehouse. The screen flickered again. Cole's pre-recorded voice boomed. Tick-tock, Mercer. She's in the vault. But bring a body bag. We fled as the ceiling caved. Dimitri's corpse buried under rubble. Chapter 6. The Vault and the Veil. The auction warehouse loomed like a skeletal hand clawing at the night sky, its beams charred and brittle from the fire. The air reeked of scorched metal and gasoline, the aftermath of our last dance here. Anya crouched beside me in the shadows of a gutted delivery truck, her eyes scanning the perimeter. 8 guards, she muttered. 4 on the roof with rifles. 2 at the east door. 2 patrolling. She paused. Syndicate's private army. Ex-Spetsnaz. They don't take prisoners. I adjusted the Kevlar vest under my jacket, stolen from Dimitri's corpse, and checked the magazine in my .38. You sure the vault's still intact? Only part of the building that survived. Her voice tightened. Cole's a bastard, not an idiot. He'd keep his leverage safe. Lena. The name was a mantra, a prayer, a curse. I moved to rise, but Anya grabbed my wrist. Wait. Her gaze cut through the dark, sharp and wary. If we do this, there's no walking away. The syndicate, the FBI, they'll hunt us to the grave. I yanked free. You backing out now? She didn't answer. We slipped in through a crack in the rear wall, the concrete still warm beneath our boots. The vault door glinted ahead, untouched by the fire, its polished steel reflecting the emergency lights like a malevolent eye. A digital keypad blinked beside it. 07B, the same code as the black site cell. Cole's sick joke. Anya's fingers hovered over the keys. It'll trigger an alert. We'll have 3 minutes max before they swarm. Do it. The lock hissed. The door groaned open. Lena slumped in the center of the vault, her wrists cuffed to a steel chair. A nerve gas canister, stamped with a biohazard symbol, was bolted to the floor beside her, its digital timer counting down from 4:59. Her head snapped up, eyes wide and bloodshot. Jack! Her voice cracked. I rushed to her, cupping her face. She was thinner, her freckles stark against pallid skin, but alive. I'm here, Lee. I'm getting you out. She jerked her chin at the canister. It's rigged to the door. If you open it all the way, it... The vault door slammed shut behind us. Anya cursed, pounding the keypad. Locked out. Cole must have overridden it remotely. The timer ticked to 4:30. Lena's breath quickened. Jack, listen, the gas is VX9. 1 breath, and your nervous system melts. You need to go. Now. Not without you. I pulled a pick from my belt, jamming it into her cuffs. Anya stared at the timer. Even if we get her free, we're trapped in here. Then blow the door. Lena shouted. With what? Anya snapped. Your brother didn't exactly pack C4. The lights flickered. A monitor on the wall buzzed to life. Cole's face appeared, smug and pixelated. Touching reunion. But I'm afraid Anya's right. The door's 6 inches of reinforced steel. You'll be puddles before you scratch it. I lunged at the screen. Let her go. This is between us. Oh, it's far bigger than you, Mercer. His gaze shifted to Anya. Tell him how Kiev really fell. Anya went still. Don't, Lena whispered. But Cole plowed on. Anya didn't just betray her unit. She gave the syndicate NATO intel, codes that got 100 agents slaughtered. Your sister's cell? One of them was my brother. The timer dipped below 3 o'clock. Anya's hand drifted to her scar. I didn't know, she said quietly. Liar. Cole spat. You think this absolves you? You're as rotten as them. I turned to Anya. Her face was a mask, but her eyes, God, her eyes, were a storm of guilt and fury. Is it true? I demanded. She didn't flinch. Does it matter? The vault shuddered. Muffled gunfire echoed outside. Syndicate mercs clashing with FBI? Neither side willing to lose their prize. Lena's cuffs snapped open. She lurched up, gripping my arm. There's a vent. Above the canister, it leads to the ducts. Anya was already climbing the shelving, prying the vent cover loose. It's narrow. We'll have to crawl. What about the gas? I hoisted Lena onto my back, her arms trembling around my neck. Hope we're fast. Anya dropped down, her palm lingering on the canister. Or that Cole wants you alive enough to stop it. The timer hit 1:30. We climbed. The duct was a suffocating tomb, the metal groaning under our weight. Lena's breath hot on my neck, Anya's boots kicking dust into my eyes. Behind us, the hiss of releasing gas. Faster, Anya rasped. The duct opened into a storage room. We tumbled out, retching. Anya slammed the vent shut as oily green tendrils curled after us. Lena collapsed, coughing. Jack, the exits. Gunfire erupted. A syndicate merc burst in, rifle raised. Anya shot him point blank, her face splattered with blood. Move. We stumbled into the night as the warehouse exploded, the gas igniting in a chemical inferno. Heat singed our backs as we dove into the Hudson, the shockwave rippling the water. When we surfaced, the warehouse was ash. Anya floated nearby, staring at the flames. Cole's still out there. I clutched Lena to my chest, her heartbeat a fragile drum. So are we. Chapter 7, The Ledger and the Lie. The safe house was a rotting motel on the Jersey Turnpike, its neon sign flickering vacancy like a taunt. Lena slept fitfully on the stained mattress, her fingers still curled into claws from the cuffs. I watched the parking lot through bulletproof glass, Anya's stolen ledger heavy in my hands. Property deeds. Shell companies. Offshore accounts. The syndicate's veins laid bare. And there, buried in the last pages, a list of names. Senators. Judges. Cole. Lena stirred, her voice raw from the gas. You're really going after him? I didn't look up. He dies. Tonight. And then what? She sat up, the blanket slipping to reveal bruises in the shape of fingerprints. You think burning one monster makes you a saint? The ledger trembled in my grip. It makes me even. A engine growled outside. Headlights speared the curtains. I drew my .38, but Lena grabbed my wrist. Wait. A knock. 3 short raps. Our old code. The one we'd used as kids hiding from Dad's drunken rages. I opened the door. Anya stood there, drenched in rain and blood, the ledger's twin tucked under her arm. Miss me. She'd gone to the syndicate's bank in Zurich. Stole their backup files, she said, tossing the second ledger onto the bed. Cole's not just selling secrets. He's erasing them. The auction's a smoke screen. The real play's a purge. Lena paled. He mentioned a clean slate. Said the buyers were patriots. Anya lit a cigarette, her hands steady. He's liquidating anyone who could expose him. Judges. Reporters. Us. I stared at the ledgers, the names blurring. Where's the auction? Federal Reserve Vault. Midnight. Anya exhaled smoke, her eyes on Lena. But you're not invited, kid. Lena stood, trembling but defiant. Try to stop me. Anya smirked. Cute. You'd last 10 seconds. Enough. I stepped between them. We're all going. We. Anya's laugh was hollow. You don't get it, do you? Cole wants you there. You're the prize. The room stilled. The bidders, they're not just buying secrets. Anya crushed her cigarette. They're buying a story. The ex-Marine who betrayed his country. The face of the terror plot Cole's fabricating. She nodded at Lena. And the damsel he murdered on live TV. Lena sank onto the bed. He's framing us. Worse. Anya met my gaze. He's making you the villain. And heroes need villains. Rain lashed the windows. I thought of Dad's fists, the lies I'd told child services. He fell. Some roles stick. So we flipped the script, I said. Anya arched a brow. How? I grabbed the ledgers. We give the buyers a better story. The Federal Reserve loomed like a mausoleum, its granite walls slick with rain. Anya disabled the alarms while Lena hacked the cameras, skills she'd learned from Netflix, she claimed. Doubtful. We slipped into the vault, a cavern of gold bars and shadow. The auction was already starting, men in masks circling a podium where Cole stood, holding a USB drive like a communion wafer. Gentlemen, he purred, tonight we rewrite history. I stepped into the light. Forget something, Cole. His smile faltered. Mercer, you're early. Anya emerged from the shadows, her pistol trained on him. And you're underbidding. Chaos erupted. Buyers drew weapons. Lena triggered the sprinklers, flooding the vault. I lunged at Cole, but a bullet tore through my thigh. I fell, the ledgers skidding across the floor. Cole grabbed Lena, pressing a knife to her throat. Still a hero, Jack? Anya froze, her aim wavering. Shoot him. Lena screamed. Anya's finger tightened, then shifted. Her bullet took out the lights. In the dark, I heard Cole's gasp, Lena's sob, the wet thud of steel meeting flesh. When the light surged back, Cole was dead. Anya stood over him, her blade dripping. Lena trembled in a corner, unharmed. The buyers were gone. The USB drive crushed under Cole's heel. Anya tossed me the ledgers. The story's yours now. Tell it right. She vanished into the storm, leaving me with the truth, the girl, and the ghosts. Chapter 8. The Broadcast and the Blood. The abandoned news station stank of mildew and mothballed ambition. Lena rigged the broadcast equipment with shaking hands, her eyes darting to the boarded-up windows. This is insane, Jack. They'll triangulate us in minutes. I unspooled cables across the cracked linoleum, the ledgers splayed open on the anchor desk. That's the point. She stared at me. You want them to come? I want them to listen. I adjusted the camera, its red light blinking like a cyborg's eye. Cole's dead. The syndicate's scrambling. Only way out is to drag it all into the light. The light. She laughed, brittle. We're in a basement, Jack. With a stolen camera and a geriatric transmitter. A key turned in the rear door. We froze. Anya stepped in, her leather jacket streaked with ash, a Glock dangling from her fingertips. You're late to your own funeral. I aimed my .38. Here to RSVP? She tossed the Glock onto the desk. Here to negotiate. Her gaze flicked to Lena. The syndicate's offering a trade. The ledgers for her life. Lena paled. Jack. They'll kill her anyway, I said, not lowering the gun. Just like Cole. Anya leaned against the doorframe, all lazy menace. Maybe. But if you go live with those ledgers, they'll kill everyone. Starting with that blogger in Queens who's been sniffing around. Maria Santos. Ring a bell. Lena's breath hitched. She's my friend. Of course she was. Cole's ghost still yanked the strings. I thumbed off the .38 safety. You're working for them again. I'm working for me. Anya's voice sharpened. You think this ends with your little broadcast? The syndicate's a hydra. Cut off one head, two grow back. But the ledgers, they're a scalpel. You hand them over, I carve out the heart. Lena stepped between us. And we just trust you. Trust. Anya smirked. Honey, I'm the devil you know. The transmitter beeped. 30 seconds to air. I gripped the ledgers. Cole's list of names seared my retinas. Senator Ryland. General Shaw. Judge Petrov. Men who'd sell their mothers for a margin bump. Men who deserved a bullet, not a headline. But Lena's hand found mine. Do it. Anya stiffened. You'll sign her death warrant. No, Lena lifted her chin. We'll sign theirs. The red light flared. Live. My name is Jack Mercer. The camera leached the color from my face, leaving a ghost in its lens. 6 months ago, the FBI faked my sister's kidnapping to blackmail me into stealing for a criminal syndicate. Tonight, I'm exposing the men who orchestrated it. I held up the ledgers. Anya watched from the shadows, her face unreadable. Lena monitored the feeds, her voice a tense whisper. Signal's patchy, but it's streaming. Comments are, Jesus, Jack, it's trending. I read names, dates, bank routes, the dry arithmetic of corruption. Then the lights died. Anya's gun flashed. Down. Glass shattered. Syndicate mercs rappelled through skylights, rifles blazing. I tackled Lena behind the anchor desk as bullets chewed the walls. Anya returned fire, her shots precise, brutal. The back door, she barked. Go. We fled through a maze of storage rooms, the merc's boots echoing closer. Lena clutched the ledgers to her chest, her breath ragged. They're jamming the signal. The feed's dead. Doesn't matter. I shoved her into an editing booth. It's out there. Anya slammed the door, wedging a chair under the knob. For all the good it'll do. Blood seeped through her sleeve. They've got the building surrounded. Lena gaped at her. You're hit. Scratch. Anya reloaded, her hand steady. Mercer, the roof. There's a chopper pad. Or there was, before the city gutted this place. And if there's not? She met my gaze. Then we jump. The stairwell reeked of piss and gunpowder. We climbed, the merc's shouts boiling up from below. The roof door was rusted shut. I rammed it with my shoulder, once, twice, until it gave. Wind howled across the tar paper, the city's skyline glittering coldly. No chopper. No escape. Just a 3-story drop to dumpsters and dented cars. Anya peered over the edge. Could be worse. How? Lena hissed. Could be lava. The door burst open. Mercs flooded the roof. Anya shot the first 2. I grappled with a third, his knife slicing my ribs. Lena swung a fire extinguisher, cracking his skull. The last merc lunged at her. Anya stepped into his path and took the bullet meant for Lena. She crumpled, scarlet blooming across her stomach. No. I caught her, lowering her to the ground. Told you, she coughed, blood on her lips. Should've, handed over the ledgers. Lena pressed her hands to the wound. Stay with us, damn it. Anya's laugh was a wet rasp. Where else would I go? Sirens wailed below. Red and blue lights stained the rooftops. Cops. Feds. Vultures. Anya gripped my collar. The syndicate's ledger, page 43. Memorized it. Her voice frayed. Burn the rest and run. Her hand went limp. Lena sobbed. I pried the ledger from Anya's coat, flipping to page 43. A single name. An address. The Hydra's head. I tossed the ledger into the wind, its pages scattering like ashes. Let the city feast on scraps. The fire escape groaned under our weight as we climbed down, Anya's body left to the sirens and the shadows. Chapter 9. The Storm and the Serpent. The senator's bunker clung to the cliffs like a barnacle, its concrete walls lashed by a hurricane howling in from the Atlantic. Lena huddled beside me in the stolen fishing boat, her face gaunt under a rain-soaked hood. Page 43 of the ledger burned in my mind. Senator Edward Vance. 42 degrees, 18 minutes, 15.0 seconds, north 70 degrees, 2 minutes, 20.0 seconds west. The coordinates led here, to the heart of the Hydra. You sure about this? Lena shouted over the gale. I wasn't. But Anya's blood still crusted under my nails, and the ledger's final secret, Vance's secret, had to die with him. We scaled the cliff, the wind clawing at our backs. The bunker's entrance was a steel hatch, rusted but secure. Lena pulled a keycard from her pocket, Cole's, looted from his corpse, and swiped. The light blinked green. He's here, she whispered. The corridor inside was all cold fluorescence and surveillance cameras. Empty. Too empty. My .38 felt like a toy in the silence. Jack. Lena pointed to a photo on the wall, a younger Senator Vance shaking hands with my old CO, Major Briggs. The man who'd framed me for a massacre I didn't commit. The man who'd ended my career. The syndicate's roots ran deeper than I'd feared. A voice echoed from a speaker grill. Welcome, Sergeant Mercer. I've been expecting you. Vance. The war room was a cathedral of screens, maps, and arrogance. Vance stood at its center, silver-haired and sharp-suited, sipping bourbon like this was a country club. 2 guards flanked him, ex-military by their stance. You're shorter than I imagined, he said. I leveled the .38. You're exactly what I imagined. He chuckled. Still playing soldier? Cole warned me you'd come. Said you had a persistence. Where's the major? Dead. A regrettable loose end. Vance set down his glass. But you're not here for him. You're here for answers. Lena stepped forward. Why? Why? Vance's smile was a scalpel. Power, my dear. Not the crude sort you trade in bullets, but the kind that moves nations. The syndicate? A means to an end. Cole. A useful idiot. And you, he nodded at me. A convenient villain. The screens flickered to life. Footage of the broadcast, my face pixelated and demonized. Terrorist. Traitor. Fugitive. The world needs monsters, Mercer. And you'll make a fine one. I thumbed the hammer. Or I kill you now. The guards raised their rifles. Vance raised a hand. Wait. Let him see. A screen zoomed in on a safe house, Maria Santos's apartment. Syndicate men breaching the door. No. Lena lunged, but a guard slammed her to the floor. Vance tutade. Your blogger friend dies unless you drop the gun. And don't think of martyrdom. My men have orders to torch the city's tenements if I don't check in hourly. The .38 wavered. Anya's voice hissed in my memory. You'll become them. Lena met my gaze. Trust me. She slammed her elbow into the guard's knee. I shot the other guard, then Vance's bourbon glass, the shards slicing his cheek. Enough. Vance pulled a detonator from his desk. The bunker's wired to blow. You'll all drown in. Lena threw a paperweight, a hunk of gold from the auction, striking his wrist. The detonator clattered away. Chaos erupted. The storm breached the bunker, seawater surging through vents. Vance fled to the lower decks, Lena and I close behind. The corridors flooded waist-deep, the lights dying one by one. We cornered him in the vault, a watertight chamber lined with gold and files. He aimed a pistol, wild-eyed. You'll never win. The Hydra thrives on chaos. I stepped closer. Then I'll burn it all down. Lena grabbed a fire axe from the wall. Jack, the files. Vance fired. The shot went wide, sparking off steel. I tackled him, the pistol skidding into the rising water. He clawed at my face, his nails drawing blood. You're nothing. A stray dog they let off the leash. I drove my knee into his ribs. And you're a dead man. Do it, he spat. Prove me right. Lena's voice cut through the rage. Jack. She stood at the vault's console, the axe hovering over a server stack. The truth or the lie? Your call. Vance laughed, blood on his teeth. Truth. You think it matters? The second I'm gone, another takes my place. The water reached our chests. The storm screamed. I looked at Lena, her resolve, her scars, the girl who'd survived hell to stand here. The truth mattered to her. I let Vance go. No, he roared as I waded to Lena. She swung the axe. The servers died in a shower of sparks. We surfaced miles down the coast, the bunker a tomb beneath the waves. Lena clung to a buoy, her laughter hysterical. Did we just win? I watched the horizon. We survived. And Vance. Let the fish judge him. The storm broke at dawn. We washed ashore near a derelict diner, its neon sign spelling OP, the H long dead. Lena slept in a booth while I scrounged coffee. A newspaper fluttered in the wind. Senator missing. Terror cell disbanded. Maria's byline. No heroes. No villains. Just ghosts and gaps. Anya would have hated it. Epilogue. They never found Vance's body. The ledger's remnants sparked investigations, resignations, whispers of reform. Lena and Maria built a podcast from the ashes. I didn't listen. Some nights, I see Anya in the rain, a flash of red, a smirk, a scar. I don't follow. The game continues. But for now, the waves are quiet. Final line. Greed survives. Truth adapts. And somewhere beyond the storm, the auction's lights flicker on again.